Constable, and I work for the beat enforcement team down here. I've been down here for about stand up for sure. Christy Fisher. I've worked down here. I've been a member of the Vancouver Police Department for 8 years, and I've been fortunate to work in the downtown Eastside for about 5.5, going on 6. I love it down here. I love the people that I see every day down here. Women, men, everybody that I deal with on a day-to-day basis. Unfortunately, I wish that I recognized a few more faces in the room that I see day to day, but I guess they're busy doing something else. I just want to give you an example of one of many that I've been involved with in my time down here. A couple of years ago, I was approached by a woman who was having a heck of a time with her boyfriend. He was emotionally abusive, he was physically abusive, and he just wore her down to the point where she had to come and talk to somebody. So she picked my partner and I out and talked to us. After sitting down and having coffee with her, we introduced her to our domestic violence team. They spent time interviewing her, and Linda's not in here. But anyone who was here last meeting, we had a big discussion about cell phones and the police department issuing cell phones to some of the women in the downtown east side. We arranged for that to happen. So this female was given a cell phone, and we were able to keep in contact with her regularly. She would approach my partner and I. She was so scared of her boyfriend, who, as of yet, we didn't have enough to lay a charge, which was unfortunate. So we made sure we stayed in contact with her at all times, well, as often as we could when we were on shift. So we would escort her home. We would take her for dinner. We just made sure she knew that we were there for her. Well, unfortunately, one night, I'm working, and a 911 call comes in. And sure enough, her boyfriend had broken into her apartment and was beating her senseless. All the members of the beat enforcement team, my team that was working, other members of District 2 responded to this call immediately. When we got there, we couldn't get in the front. We had to kick the door in because they were not letting us into this where she lived. The staff wouldn't let us in. As we were trying to get in, we heard the female who had placed this 911 call from the cell phone that we had issued her. And thank goodness she had it, because if she didn't, who knows if this call would have even come in. The offender, bad guy, jumped out the window, broke his ankle, and tried to run away from us. So, needless to say, we caught him the block around, and with the assistance with our DVAC, our domestic violence unit, and other members of our team, we were able to lay some very substantial charges, and I'm pleased to say that he is still behind bars. He was convicted on numerous charges, thanks to the efforts of DVAC, myself, my team, our sergeants, and everybody involved, and he's still behind bars to this day, and that's 2.5 years ago that this happened. That's one example, and it does hurt me when I hear things that all of us are wonderful women, but I have to say to you guys, the men that we work with are fantastic. They're fantastic, and they're here because they care. And I have to point out, Constable Steeperding is here. He's sitting over there, and there is no man in this world that has more compassion. Not only for the women down here, but a lot of the youth. That seems to be his passion, and he really takes care of a lot of our youth, both boys and girls that just shouldn't be down here. So I just want to leave you with that. We care. We love everybody that we see day to day.
Right. So maybe because that was something that was asked for us that you wanted to hear, or at least the last group wanted to hear from sergeant officers. Maybe just a couple more quick here from police officers, and then we'll go back to taking questions.
What is this? What is this really?
Angela, did you want to?
Should I say Joyce?
My name is Angela. I'm quite new down here. I've been down here for just going on 2 years now. I'll share an example throughout my short time here. It wasn't something that resulted in any criminal charges, but I hope by telling it to everyone here that you can get an idea that we really do go above and beyond for everything, whether it's going to result in a criminal charge or not. So a woman driving out of downtown Eastside on her way back to Burnaby sees what appears to be a female being dragged into a vehicle against her will. It appears that there's some sort of struggle going on. She continues driving, phones 911 about this. Two of our officers immediately meet her up on Clark Drive to try and get more information from her so we can start getting it over the radio so other members can start looking for this person involved. And through somewhat of a difficult language barrier, we decided to tell the woman to drive two of our members back to the spot where she saw this occurring. She had a very difficult time remembering what 300 block it was. If it was Gore, if it was Jackson, if it was Heatley. So our members followed her, and she said, "I think it's that one." We had members, approximately 15 police officers, immediately dedicated to this call. We had video surveillance being checked on hotels, wherever we possibly could obtain video footage from those 300 blocks of each of those streets. About 45 minutes later, we eventually spoke to a witness who saw the same thing. However, he didn't phone in because he was familiar with this woman, as she is a regular in the area, and what he saw was that she was struggling to put her clothes on. She was in a drug-induced state. She was struggling, and a male, a stranger who was driving by, got out of his vehicle and was helping her put her clothes back on. And he continued to drive off, and she went her separate ways. So he didn't think anything of calling it in because the man was simply trying to help this woman. We still took a very detailed statement from the female that originally reported it. And so just hopefully that can show everyone that we do go above and beyond and spend time on, and we do take these types of calls very seriously.
Excellent. So one last maybe quick for us, and I hope I'm not throwing them to the wolves. You're a tough crowd, but Sergeant Jeff Law, who's been around for quite a while.
Everybody calls me Jeff Law, but it's actually Jeff Rice.
Jeff Rice. Looks just like Jeff Law.
I've been a police officer for about 20 years. 10 of those years have been in District 2. The majority of that have been on foot patrol, and maybe a number of you recognize me from seeing me skulking around the lanes and the alcoves and stuff like that. I just want to speak about two members on my team that consistently take a special interest in people who are vulnerable. And one of the best examples of that is, I'm not sure if anybody's familiar with the lady that was living in the 400 block of Main Street in the cardboard box outside of the old contact center. Every day they went by and tried to find her a place to go because she was pregnant, she was getting far along in her term. And they made calls to a number of different shelters, but they get some reluctance from her because she was so entrenched. She didn't want to leave sort of the lifestyle she had going. For whatever reason, I don't know. Ultimately, they got her into, made some phone calls to Women's Hospital and got her into Foursquare, which is an excellent facility. And I went down there personally and tried to offer her a ride. And she wouldn't take it from me. She promised me that her sister was going to come down the next hour, the next hour after that, the next hour after that. Finally, she wasn't there. So I followed her to the hospital. And they got her the bed. And these two particular members, Claire included, consistently take the young people in the downtown east side for coffee, for something to eat, to try to convince them that this isn't the place for them. And that's sort of the stuff that people don't often hear about, but there is a lot of special interest, a lot of focused interest on people like that down here. And we are trying to prevent from other people getting entrenched in the lifestyle down here. I want to commend them because it's consistent. And it goes on every day, and I don't think people hear about that. I just want to say a few words about them.
why are you hiding all the bad policemen? All you policemen are very good, but, and that is in this room, but you never bring those police officers that beat on our women and beat on our children and beat on our
Yeah.
you never bring them to our meetings.
Beat up by a cop.
Okay,
You
so,
should bring some, I told Jim Chu that he should bring some of your thugs down here, just to, and reconcile with them. But you guys shouldn't be hiding your bad officers.
so we're not hiding them. We asked the people that were available to come today to come, but if you've got people that you'd like to talk with me after,
Because
you've got
you're-
a concern with.
You're a doctor.
Well, you can tell me now if you like.
The guy on the video that pushed the woman.
Their police officers that beat us on the hall,
Yeah, what happened to
hallway
them?
up there, that you never bring down here. There's hallway beatings in your building, and you never bring those officers here. Those officers that rape our young Aboriginal prostitutes, they're never here. You bring good guys like this guy. Like she says that this guy over here is quite a fine fella. But you never seem to bring them here, and we can't reconcile with you unless we reconcile with the person who's perpetrating us.
One of the things it's sort of, because I don't know what you're talking about. I don't know the incident.
Of course you don't.
Terry, let me speak. So, I'm happy to speak to you about if there is a particular issue, incident. I'm not aware of that. I am aware of the incident, which we're very sorry about, where the officer pushed the woman down. I point out that we dealt with that immediately. He's been charged with an assault now, which is a very serious thing.
Only because he was caught on videotape.
I'm sorry, I couldn't hear you.
Only because he was caught on video, it became public.